All right, it says we're live, Paul.
Oh, cool. Oh, we're live now. Hey, everyone. I'm going to mute the YouTube first. Okay. Hi, welcome everybody to our YouTube live for this year. I think this year, right, Suhita?
That's right, first one of this year.
Yeah, so it's good to be back. We're back in business. So we're
Great.
still kind of making sure that
Let's just wait a bit and make sure everybody comes on and signs on, and then we'll start in just a minute.
yeah, let's just give a couple of minutes for people to log on.
Paul, I'm not sure I can see YouTube, so I may ask you to read out comments, because if I
Sure.
put off volume, it's putting me off in our meeting too.
Okay.
But that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, so I'll let you watch who's on YouTube, and I'll put in comment. I'll reply from up here. So while we're waiting, if you've come into the room, and Paul and I are back after a long time on YouTube Live. We're drawing kitchen sinks today. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully you came with stuff. If you've come to just watch, go run and grab your supplies, because we're going to be drawing together. We'll chat, we'll draw together, but don't just come and sit and watch. Come draw with us. So while we wait for people to enter the room, go grab your supplies.
Hey, morning, Ria, Pam, and Johnny. And we are waiting for a few more friends to come in. So the first few minutes, yeah, feel free to set up your supplies table with all your sketchbook and paper. And also, we are going to keep a couple. Oh yeah, definitely keep your coffee, or if you're in US, your wine or your beer nearby. I've just finished my coffee, so
Go grab your supplies.
Hey, morning. Good morning, everybody. So just waiting for everybody to slowly trickle in, and then we can start.
Lovely. All right, Paul, I can see YouTube, so that's good. So I do see. So you don't have to read out comments for me.
Cool.
That's lovely. Yeah, I'm seeing people stream in. So for anybody that
hey,
was wondering what
morning,
we're doing,
evening.
yeah, good morning. Hopefully you're either going to be, hopefully you're drawing with us today, and you are either drawing from the photographs that we posted, or you are drawing your kitchen sink. So if you're doing your own kitchen sink, then take your stuff over, go sit there, take us on YouTube Live to where you're sitting and enjoy this time with us. But if you just came to watch, I'd say go run over, grab really simple supplies, but draw with us.
Yeah, morning, Anne-Marie. So we are going to review the answers to whose sink is this, all right? And then you can tell us if you got the answer right. Good morning, everybody. So we're just allowing people to stream in so that we can start the YouTube live shortly, and sketch with you, have a chat, keep it really casual and fun today. So we haven't done this for a while, so it's going to feel like the first time again.
I did catch you. Anne-Marie was trying to just watch. No, you got to go get your supplies, Anne-Marie. Go grab them. All right. So while the room fills in, hi from San Mateo, from Mexico, from all over the world. Let's Paul, should I go to your desktop and we'll try to guess whose sink that is on your desktop? Let's see. Let's put your.
So whose sink is this?
That's right. Whose sink is this? I put these on Instagram, and we got a good amount of answers. Catherine wants to know how long will this go for? We chat, we draw. We suspect it's really hard for Paul or me to keep sketching more than an hour. We'll be done, but sometimes we chat longer. I do want you to know that if you need to run, this recording will stay on Paul's channel after this. So if you need to run, go ahead. Whose sink are we looking at right there? So quick answers on that one.
Yeah. And we will review this in maybe 1
Okay, so
minute's time.
I'm seeing the first. Pam says it's Suhita's, and says this is Paul's with the plants. All right, we need more votes before we
Yeah.
switch over.
So you guys think the sink with a lot of plants belongs to me?
That's right. Okay, let's get
Interesting.
this one. So then whose is this?
So we have split votes.
Yeah, we've
Morning,
totally got split
evening,
votes.
afternoon.
I'm going to tell you that a lot of people sent us notes saying, "Oh, I'm looking at the bottle and I'm looking at the plants." But I'm going to tell you one thing: if one of them looks super neat, there is no way it's mine. So it
Cool.
was pretty simple to
Hmm.
guess actually. But yeah, so actually the sink on my desktop with my hands over it right now is Paul's sink, and Paul
Yes.
has my sink with the plants on his desktop, and we are going to be drawing each other's sinks, and
Yeah.
you have access to those images. You can either draw them or draw your own sink.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we have a
So
totally split vote, Paul.
yeah, so maybe we'll talk about our sink a little bit later. You'll see clues, of our unique kitchen. We thought doing this kitchen sink swap is a good way to sneak into each other's kitchen and maybe look at your kitchen later on through your sketches and kind of look at what your domestic life might be like. And I think for the last few months, some of us may be staying at home a little bit more, and you might be so familiar that you forget about your kitchen. So hopefully as you draw your kitchen, you remember those days that you were staying home. It was still probably a good day. Yeah. So shall
Yeah,
we start?
sure.
So yeah, we're gonna
Sure.
start sketching our kitchen sink. Oh no, I mean I'm gonna sketch Suhita's kitchen sink. We'll talk a little bit about sketching PlayLab, and if you have questions along the way, feel free to type it in the chat box, and we can answer them as to the best of ability. And then we will also talk about what's going to happen next few weeks when Sketching PlayLab opens again. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
feel free to join us. All
Go
right.
ahead, send questions, comments. We'll watch comments
Yeah.
as we go along. Uh, but really,
So how
just
are we going to
writing.
start, Suhita?
Let's see. What I thought we might do is find little bits of this. So there's a lot. And I always find this when you give me something new, I want to look here, there, everywhere, or I want to draw the whole thing. So we thought today maybe we'll start with little bits that interest us and draw a couple of little vignettes without worrying too much about making a whole sketch. Does that
Yeah.
sound good, Paul?
Yeah. So it feels like you're sneaking around because we're also trying to imitate in real life. If you're doing an urban sketch in Suhita's kitchen, you'd probably be looking left, looking right, yeah,
That's
uncovering
right. You'll
things.
be overwhelmed by everything around you. So
Yeah,
I
and
think
you'll be like wondering, what is this object, and what is that? So that's what we're doing. We're just sneaking around. We're just doing small little thumbnail vignettes. You can do it in your own style. You don't have to, follow us or use a particular media. Yeah, we're keeping it quite casual.
yeah. So what we're doing right now is just doing a bunch of little sketches. They don't have to be the whole thing, but it's kind of interesting to see what interested me. Then do another little sketch of something else that interested you, and just
And it's fantastic for me because this is really early for me. It's like it's a good way to warm up. Yeah, so we
what's
like to.
fascinating is for all the differences are the kitchen sink taps, Paul, are almost the same. That's
Yeah.
one thing that's almost the same, the tap on the sink.
So why do you have so many pots of plants? Maybe people are curious to
Why do
know.
I have so many plants? Uh, so one of the reasons I have so many plants like that looks like a little bit of a tropical jungle is because when I do like a little bit of the tropics in my kitchen. I miss
Mm,
India. I haven't been home a couple of years now, but
yeah.
having this little bit of a jungle tropical-ish feel
Mm,
brings a little bit of the tropics back.
reminder.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And you was telling me that the plants don't do very well in winter, right? Some of
Yes,
them.
they don't do so well in the winter. I mean, in that thing. So right now they're happy, but a lot of them I have plants that do best in the tropics or in say
Mm,
Hawaii here, but not so well in the winter. But somehow they survive and they come back. So
yeah, yeah. And you have a garden as well, right?
I do. I'm in suburbia, which is why the big sink. In fact, it's one of a double sink. I tried not to get everybody overwhelmed, so the picture just has one of. And sort of things like that are big clues. I still find it huge
Yeah.
compared to where I
Do,
grew up.
do you have a dishwasher, which is quite common in US, right?
Yes, yes,
You
yes. So
do.
there will be a dishwasher. In fact, it just died last week and had to be
Oh,
replaced.
yeah. So like dishwasher is not very
No,
popular.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
a dishwasher in any of the homes like I grew up in, say, in India. It
You
wouldn't
probably
fit.
need space,
It
and
wouldn't fit in the Bombay
that's
apartment
true.
I grew up in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think our Asian pots and pans will be too big for them as well.
and it also needs a lot more scrubbing. The
Oh yeah,
cooking.
that's true. That's
So
true.
I always have that problem if I
Okay,
make
so
a
those are
new.
some of the clues.
Yes.
Yeah. So morning and evening or afternoon, everybody. I think most of us are joining from Asia and America. It will be too late for the European friends today. Yeah. Yeah, so we're back from our little summer break, and some of us know us from Sketching PlayLab. So we are very happy to be back, and we when did we start Sketching PlayLab?
Oh
Do you remember,
gosh, do you
Suhita?
remember when our first one in 2020 was?
Yeah, yeah, I think we met once or twice. I said, hey, do you want to do something when the pandemic hit? And we had to cancel Pound Count Symposium. We had to stay home, and that's where you said, okay, let's do it. And
Yeah,
that's where we came up with the idea of the Sketching Play Lab this last April. So wow, it's been a year and a little bit
it
more now.
it's been a
Yeah,
year and then another summer. When we
yeah,
started it, we just said we're in lockdown right now. We don't know how long this will last. People need to play and explore, so let's do it with them. And it
yeah.
was
So we
totally experimental, right? I mean, we said we don't know what people's situation is. Let's keep it donation based. And God,
Yes. Yeah.
you want
So
to know
yeah,
how?
thank you
Yeah.
all for supporting us, this initiative, for such a long time, and we're here still doing this because we know that some of you have enjoyed playing with us, and we are also showing you how we are playing today. Yeah. So that you get a flavor of what Sketching Play Lab is. Hopefully you
All
will
right.
be
There's somebody
keen to
joining from
join us.
Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as Paul, speaking of that, like this session we talked about, like we did put some thought into kitchen sink. We were like, what can people watch us play with that doesn't seem too much like a painting demo where they're watching something very carefully and we're making something that looks like a fine little piece. We wanted it to be fun. We wanted to be something everybody has access to, like drawing in their own house if they wanted to. So and also a way to share our homes. Like I'm looking forward to those of you that draw your own kitchen sink and seeing
Yeah.
what that little corner of your domestic life looks like.
Yeah. So yeah, so some of you may be new to Sketching Play Lab. Our play sessions, we call it play session because we believe, that each each time you sketch, you make art, it should be like a child having a good time. You shouldn't
Mhm.
feel like you're suffering through this whole experience, right? And how else can we explain play, Suhita?
Yeah, I think the idea of play is to learn through experimentation, to
That's
get your
true,
hands
yeah.
in the dirt,
Yeah,
to not so much watch, which is why I
experiment.
said if you're watching here, go grab something, grab your crayons, anything, but grab something and be doodling this while you hang out with us, because I think it's the doing that all kinds of fun stuff comes out of.
Yeah.
Especially for me, sometimes when I draw like this, like not thinking too much, talking, doing it, I'm surprised by what I do that I wouldn't do otherwise. Do you feel like that, Paul, about?
Yeah, so thanks for reminding me as well. Like play, it's about discovery, taking taking a different path, meandering and just kind of putting our expectation in the back seat and just responding to the hands and
Yeah.
allowing the hands to help do some of the thinking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've just joined us, we're doing small little vignettes. We're just walking around the kitchen as if, I'm there. I'm looking at Suhita's sink, what kind of cups and plates she's using, and then looking at some of her plants as well, admiring them. And then it's just a simple way to warm up. So yeah, at Sketching Play Lab, we also talk a lot about, preparing yourself. So, warming up is helpful, especially if you
Mm-hmm.
haven't been drawing for a while. um, then you lessen the expectation to do something
Sure.
grand and perfect.
And also sometimes if you just call it a warm up, it takes the pressure off it. You're just warming up. You're not making a painting, and that you'd be surprised by what turns up on your page when you
Yeah.
um, let it be easy for yourself.
Yeah. So guys, if you have any question, feel free to type in the chat box, and then
Or if you're drawing, tell us how it's going. Or if you're sitting
yeah.
by your own sink, tell us what's there. Unfortunately, it sort of will be reading comments, and we're not chatting in a room. One day
Yeah.
we will. But until
Yeah.
then, be
I hope
chatty in
yeah.
the chat box.
Yeah, so yeah, you can ask us questions related to sketching play lab, sketching, yeah, or just simply share with us, your
Because we
life
are
so
back,
far.
like Paul says, you can ask us about Sketching PlayLab because we took a summer break for about a month. But we're
Yeah,
back, and we just came back with a session we'd done last year. But if you weren't with us last year, then we're doing a textures based session from
yeah,
next week. There are slots open. You should have gotten an email to it, or if you didn't, um, splaylab, splaylab, one word, at gmail.com. Write to us and say, hey, I want to be on the list, because we would happily share with you links to next week's session, and you can sign up. It's all donation based.
yeah,
About an hour and a half of a room full of people playing and experimenting with one sort of theme together. Paul and I spend a good amount of time sort of, I would say, orchestrating and choreographing these so that there's a sense of discovery and learning with every topic we look at.
yeah. So some of you might be wondering, oh, what's a play session like? So like Sweden mentioned, it is not very different from what we're doing. Except that there may be a more specific theme. We have prompts that will take you through. We also liken it to being at a playground. There will be playtime, and we will tell you to, hey, take off. What else can you do with the prompts and the materials that we have been playing with as well. So those are things that you be expecting, and also work in progress, because we believe that this is also a lab. That's why we call it a lab, because we also want you to learn from things that may not go that well, things that
Mhm.
may turn out otherwise. It's a really good way to kind of understand concepts and media by experimentation as well. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, it's
that's
fun. It's
sketching
fun.
play
If
lab.
you've never been to one, it's kind of hard to explain it,
Mhm.
but come join one.
Yeah. So it is like a I mean, we spend a lot of time preparing for sessions like that, especially
Uh-huh.
when they are quite formal. So we do spend a lot of time brainstorming and playing on our own, before we present it. So if you're wondering, oh, is this a performance where I watch Suhita and Paul sing and dance for an hour? No, it is not. We we do involve you. It is like a workshop
It's
that we
very much
teach.
like a workshop, right? We just
Yeah.
don't use the term workshop because
No.
like we all do the discovery together. But
Yeah.
it is, I would say, very much like a workshop, an hour and a half workshop, bite-sized themes to
Yeah.
explore.
Yeah. To kind of stretch your mind as well, like going to the
Yeah.
gym, you're building new muscles. Yeah.
I found that, I mean, like I've been doing more sort of play-based drawing because we've been doing this so long. Like crayons, I always worked with crayons, but not as much as I do now. So all the fun tools have really become part of my
Are you using your crayon?
kit.
Are you
Yeah,
using it?
I've
Not
been
yet.
pulling them out, so I have crayons around. They're great fun to
Yeah.
add in stuff with. Um, it also keeps it kind of light for me. It doesn't feel like making a painting when I'm mixing my media. And there's something I really enjoy about this idea of mixing media, not sticking
So
in one.
we've got a question from Jolene. So Jolene, you can use your sketchbook, or you can use small pieces of paper. Now we have a surprise for you. But the sketchbook paper were easy. You again don't have to follow what we are doing. We're just playing, but we do have something up our sleeves. So
Yeah, so
hopefully you
either your sketchbook or loose sheets of paper. Loose sheets of paper is probably better, but it doesn't matter. If you're in your
yeah.
sketchbook, that's where you are.
Yeah. And we are just exploring the kitchen sink because I think for quite a while we haven't been able to go out, and we assume that the photograph is everything. But when you're on location, you do have to turn your head, look left, look right, make important decision, and be able to pick out what's going on in the scene.
Yeah,
So this can be actually quite a complicated scene if you're on location. So we want to kind of simulate that so that we don't assume that we've seen it all. Yeah, we're just kind of sneaking around. We've given you two photographs so that you can actually appreciate the kitchen from two different points of view.
that's right. And or one will have a little more of a zoomed in version or a different angle. So each of those are in two angles. But
Yeah,
if you get totally lost in one, just keep going. Remember to
yeah,
do little explorations if you're working this away with us, or if you just loved one and want to end up with a big piece. It's up to you. So long as you hang
yeah,
around and draw with us.
yeah.
And then feel free to ask questions, anything. Good morning from Bangkok, Thailand.
Good morning. Yeah, so we were just talking about our play sessions like workshops, mini workshops. We just don't call them workshops because we want the play element, the experimental element, and it's also about you. It's not so much about trying to be us or trying to be like
That's right.
Suhita and do
Yes,
what she does, and we are just here as a guide or as a coach.
that's right.
So
That's
we
one thing that we're not about, right? Like drawing like us. It's not about a style. It's not about any of that. It's about trying
yeah.
things.
Yeah, and also we've kept it donation based from the very beginning, and still doing that now because we want to make sure that you all have an opportunity to join us without having to worry about cost. We understand that the pandemic may have affected you in a different way from the rest of us. So
Yeah.
we do appreciate your generous donations so far. And a lot of
Mhm.
times, we get questions like, what do you mean by donation? How much is an acceptable amount? We like to say that there's no minimum amount that you can and should donate, but think about how much you will pay for a workshop in your country or in your experience, or think about going to a gym class, a Pilates class, or how much will you pay for a good meal. Those could be ways you can consider sending in your donation, because we do put in our own time to prepare
It's a
for
good
the
amount of time. Every
play
time we
session.
have
Yeah,
a new session, like
yeah,
the new one we're developing, Paul, I don't know, do you have
yeah.
an estimate of how many hours we've played?
I think we did 3 or 4 meetup, and each time is about an hour, 2 hours.
2 hours. I think it's been 4. I went through my book. So like 8 to 10 hours and 8 hours together, and then we go and experiment on our own. So 8 to 10 hours
yeah,
have gone into developing this next session that we will release. And that's sort of typical. We do 3 to 4 sessions together. They're 2 to 2, 2.5 hours. We come up with a concept, we package it for you. So yeah, so it's while it's fun to do, we're super
yeah,
happy when you can make donations and will come, because that's what's kept us going for a year and a half. So thank you.
yeah. So the donations are also split between Suhita and myself, and then we pay off all the fees imposed by Eventbrite and also PayPal. Yeah, so that's how your donation is spent and also used. Just in case
That's
you're
right.
wondering,
So
where your donation goes to. Yeah, and
that's
then
right.
it helps
Eventbrite
us.
first, PayPal second, because that's the two
Yeah,
channels we use. Both of us have our Zoom professional monthly subscriptions, because we
that's
host
true.
this for a big
Yeah.
room. And after that, what's left is split between Paul and me. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so that's how it's worked, and we'll try to keep this going in that way for however long we can. I am going to
Yeah.
say that when we're done with this session, by the way, if somebody needs to run, when we're done, will the recording will go here on Paul's YouTube channel, and he'll also put links down there to Paul and my separate Buy Me a Coffee links, which is a nice way to say
Yeah.
thank you if you enjoyed the session. He'll also add the links to the Eventbrite, where you can register for next week's and the week
Yeah.
after's Play Labs. So look out for the recording of this one when it's done, if you want to look at those links. And thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, feel free to ask us any questions, about anything, material, sketching, play lab. Yeah. So I hope you're all doing well, because some of us I know are still locked in, and that's why
Mhm.
hopefully this YouTube live it's helpful to give you to bring you some inspiration and hopefully some joy. You mentioned we are in the same place or in Sweeta's house, drawing her kitchen together. That'll be fun, and
That's
that's what we're looking
right.
forward to.
I know,
Yeah,
one day, Paul, one day. Um,
one day. Yeah,
but meanwhile, if you're watching stuff on our desktops and you have questions about anything you're seeing, feel free to put those questions in the chat. We're happy to answer
yeah.
questions.
So let's look at Suhita. So I'm gonna spotlight for it.
All right, so let's see what I have so far. So I zoomed in and
Ah,
did a bunch of stuff. You can see I'm fascinated by all the little bits of what's on your in your kitchen sink. So all the
yeah. Well, it's
sprays
not
and what.
mine. Yeah, it's mom's. Yeah. So I think you can also see from Asian kitchens our utensils and our pots and pans are
That's
maybe a
right.
little bit bigger because of all that frying and all that cooking. And also, I think I was telling Sweeter, look at that round old wooden chopping board, which is also quintessential
That's right.
Asia.
The round wooden chopping board gives it away.
Do you have it in India?
Uh,
Is it common?
no, no.
No.
I've seen this in other parts of Asia, but not no in India. What looks round like this is the board on which you make your roti or chapati, but
Oh
it's
yeah, that's
yeah,
true. Okay,
very
yeah, yeah,
similar, but
yeah.
with tiny little feet. But
Okay,
yeah, the round chopping board. Okay, let's go to your desktop, Paul, so we can look
okay.
at. Let me see. I think I can do that for you. There you
Mhm.
go. All right. So you've been roaming around this.
Yeah, you have a really clean kitchen sink, I
No,
must
no, no,
say.
Paul.
Oh,
I
I
cleaned it to
cleaned
take
it for
the
the photo
shot.
shoot.
Yes. The dishes were
Okay,
piled so high you couldn't see the plants. So no, no, no.
so this is for the photo
This is
shoot.
this is
Yeah.
the sort of once a day cleanup version of
Hmm.
this thing. So
Right.
yeah, it
Mm.
doesn't
But it's
stay
not, I
like
think
that.
it's nice to do your dishes, with the plants. It's it feels very tropical, and I can see it's a really sunny day as
I
well.
kind of like the idea of standing there and feeling like I'm a bit in the jungle.
Yeah, now I can see the double sink in the other photograph. Yeah.
That's right.
Hmm. Good. Yeah, so yeah, we were just wondering, if did you manage to guess which kitchen sink belongs to who in the, in the very beginning, and hopefully now you know a little bit more about us. Okay, well, I don't cook, so I just use the kitchen sink to just wash my cups. That's about it. Yeah. So what we're doing right now, it's just to roam around, and I think we roam around for say 20 minutes now. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I think it's a good way to get the hands moving and to kind
yeah.
of just have a feel of that place before you jump right in or do anything bigger, so that you're not kind of just assuming
It's
that
kind
this
of
is what
fun
it
also
is.
because, like for me, sometimes as I'm drawing, if I start a very big drawing, I
Mhm.
suddenly realize something else has got my attention, and then I've
Yeah,
already started with one focus. So this is kind of fun. It lets me focus on one thing, then jump out and focus on something
yeah,
else,
that's true.
which is kind of nice.
Yeah, so we want to remind you that there are always different points of view, and a lot of times if you're looking at something quite messy, complex, it's probably good to just kind of pause, take a breath, look around, and then talk about the story that you want to tell, the journey that you want to take, and that's what we do a
Mhm.
lot at the sketching lab, so that
That's right.
uh, we open our options, we look at different points of view as well. So I hope
The
you are
dish
also
dryer.
feeling.
Ellen says that the dish dryer gave away your sink.
Oh, okay, interesting. So yeah, so when you're on location sketching, there are a lot of clues to tell you, where you are, what might
Where
be
you are. That's
interesting.
right. That's another thing, right? Like uh, you can tell a place from little things like that.
That's true. Yeah. And then you can choose to highlight them if you want to kind of drop hints about the location
That's right.
if you wish. Yeah. So are you gonna do one more little vignette?
Sure. Just maybe another five
Okay.
minutes or just
Yeah,
add to something and
yeah.
then,
So there's no hurry. It's very casual. We're just collecting ideas from the photograph, right? So
yeah.
we're not doing something
Yeah. And,
extraordinary.
the timing is just for Paul and me to not forget to draw and keep going for 2 hours. You don't want to hang out that long with us. Uh, but you don't have to hurry up. We'd like to do something fun with this sketch in a bit, but take your time.
Yeah, yeah. And also, after the session, feel free to share it with us on Instagram. Just hashtag sketching playlab so that we can see your sketches or few sketches that you intend to do as well.
It's been a long summer break, so it's nice to have some of you in the room with us again. We took a
Yeah,
break to develop some new sessions to just play by ourselves and
yeah,
think of what next. But I'm excited to be coming back to do this again.
yeah. We're looking forward to travel. I'm looking forward to travel.
Oh yes, that one's a little ways away, but it'll be there.
Yeah. Well, so this is our virtual traveling.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So you can also share about your current
Yeah. How
situation.
is
How are
it
you
where you are?
doing?
What have you been doing with having fun or experimenting with art? How has your last year been in making art? And like, how have you coped? It's different for everybody.
So do you have any strategy when you're doing small little vignettes?
The strategy? No, I pretty much jump into something I find interesting and then grow it from there. Do you have something more than
Uh,
that to say about it, Paul?
similar. I will start with something that has grabbed my attention, and then I'll pick up from there and just kind of expand. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then see what else I can bring in to just uh, make
Sure.
that little vignette more interesting. So it's evolving, and I think yeah, that's
Yeah.
also a bit of what Sketchup Playlab is. We meander and we build on something that is
I like
interesting.
that, the idea of it evolving. So you're not deciding on a composition when you start, right? You're just starting at some point that interests you. And because it's just a little vignette, you can grow it as,
Yeah. Yeah, so Catherine, yeah, we understand that Australia is still in a lockdown. So hopefully, this draw your kitchen sink will inspire you to find interesting way to look at, the house without
yeah.
getting bored and still find a lot of joy of doing it. And that's what Sketchup Lab, it's about to be able to draw a familiar location using multiple approaches and ways.
And if
Yeah.
you're coming back this next week, we will be drawing just little stuff on our desktop. So
Yes.
come join us in our sessions because part of what we did last year with lockdown is we either drew, sort of the idea of virtual travel, which is not
Yeah.
urban sketching. It's just
Yeah.
just to make us happy, or we drew things around our house, things on our desktop, because that way we're all, we're finding things to draw even without the ability to get out. So I hope you're doing a
Yeah.
little bit of that
Yeah, your mind can still expand
for
if you
sure.
are stuck at home. So we're trying
And in
to
fact, it's a
still.
good time to learn a skill, right? So it was quite exciting to sort of work on some things and then be ready
Yeah.
to take it out in the field when things opened up.
Yeah.
Last year, we did a lot of working on ideas that was interesting to take back into the field. I see now you are drawing outside, right, Paul? Can you meet
Yes.
up in
Yeah.
small groups? How
So
does it go?
I can meet up to one other person, but next week onwards, there'll be slight lift of restrictions, so we can meet up to 5. So
Okay,
I think that's a really welcome change, to get out there because drawing from photograph is very different from, looking at the
of
real
course.
thing. You have to kind of catch up with, this 3D environment. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
So
amazing how alive it is. Even when you're looking at a building in
that's right.
life, it's
Yeah,
alive.
it is, and you have a lot of distraction as well.
Yes, yes.
Because you have to decide, and then things are coming in and out, and you can get quite confused. So it's good to have some strategy, but don't be locked in. Yeah. So far, what we have done is we've kind of created little vignettes, little segments. Even though this is
Uh-huh.
one photograph, there are different portions that it's actually quite interesting to look at. Yeah. So I kind
That's
of sneaked around your kitchen. Yeah.
okay.
And I
Yeah,
hope you
lovely.
had,
Yeah.
yeah, I hope you also had fun, warming
It
up.
was fun. It was fun to zoom in on little stuff, find patterns in things, and find little bits that were super interesting. Because often you think, what's in a sink, right? But it was fun.
Yes. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
now what?
Now what, Suhita? Tell me.
Okay, let's see. You have a scissors,
I
Paul?
guess up to this stage, we might be asking, yeah, what else, what if we did something, what can we do to elevate, to transform this? So we are going to now, in our own inverted comma song and dance for you to see, if we can, inspire you even more. So we are going to pull out a special tool. Have you got your special tool? Yes.
Yeah.
We're going
All
to
right. So
do
if
something.
you've been to a play lab, we never keep it nice and straight,
Uh-huh.
and we're not all done right now. We're going to disrupt this. So cut it up, Paul.
Yes, let's go. So what we are doing is we are not interrupting the sketch because we want to now do a bit of experimentation to see if we can get more out of
You
sketches.
drew on loose paper, or I guess if you don't, you can do this. Or if you just want to watch this bit and keep working on yours, that's fine too.
Yeah,
Let's see, I cut one into two, and maybe I'll cut some things just across.
yeah. So this is an idea from an older session that we've done called Brick Build, which we have
Mhm.
yet to rerun, but it's a
Yeah,
very
it's kind of
exciting
fun. This
way.
session we call break and
Yeah,
build, right?
yes, it's a very interesting way to kind of reimagine,
Uh-huh.
yeah, reimagine your sketch.
So I'm going to cut it up into maybe just two pieces each, but I will come back and cut it into more if I want to later. So you might be wondering what we're doing. If you're cutting up, just go for it. Don't worry about what happens with it later.
Now, if you don't want to cut up, that's fine as well,
That's
you know.
totally fine. That's totally
Yeah,
fine.
but we are just playing. We have some idea, but we're still keeping it quite open to see, you know, what other possibility can come into play. Yeah, I'm happy to chat.
Yeah, ask questions. Tell us what you're doing with your sketch or what it's looking like right now. All right, so I've got a few pieces right here.
Hmm.
Now what?
Well, start building.
Start building again. All right, so we like to do this. We dismantle and build. It seems a little bit silly to dismantle and then build again, but it's interesting how things change if you do that. So I'm gonna try and make some sense out of stuff without bringing it back together like in absolutely like it was before. We'll see if we can make something fun with this and still sort of bring that idea of our kitchen sinks. So that's the challenge. Can we play with this and still call this Paul's kitchen sink or Suhita's kitchen sink, uh, whatever we do with it?
Yeah,
All right, time to cut this up more. Some of my pieces are super big. I might have to cut them down. It's always interesting to do something that disrupts it and then see what you can bring back. Like, is the essence of the sink still gonna be there? I don't know.
yeah, and also you can see the Sweeter is not afraid of the mess.
No,
She's not afraid of inky fingers as well.
Minky fingers today. Okay, today I'm semi decent, not terrible. So
Not yet,
not
maybe.
yet, not yet. Uh,
Yeah. We are actually now looking at the potential and strength of each puzzle piece.
yeah, and it also
And
makes it be a design for a little while instead of just
yeah,
things,
so
which I
so it
kind of like.
may look random and crazy at the moment, but we're trying to find purpose and a new home.
And it might come together, it might not, but that's the fun of it. So we'll see. If we go super quiet, that's just because it's kind of hard to cut, to assemble, to make sense of something and talk. But we're here, and questions can keep coming. Questions, comments,
Yeah.
enjoy the process. Gosh, it's hard to decide. And maybe some of this will get thrown out. That's another
Yeah,
thing, right?
true.
And it's allowed to throw some things out.
Yeah,
Um, I always want to be super precious about it and keep it all.
yeah, and then you can allow some bits to go if it doesn't make sense. So don't worry if you are not cutting up. We just want you to enjoy the hanging out together with us today.
That's right. If cutting and reassembling is makes you anxious, it feels like, gosh, it's too much. Either to cut up your sketchbook or to cut up something you started drawing. You don't have to what do it. You can just watch Paul and me make a mess here.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully, it will work, but who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. All right. At some point, I'm just gonna have to stick this down because there's 100 ways you can
Yeah. Yeah.
read
So
things.
if you are following us, you can stick some bits down and then, work on it, push it around.
So we like to sort of reassemble and then bridge, like we broke, then we built, and now we'll bridge something. So, you can draw over your pieces to bring some connection and sense back
Wow,
into.
you have really assembled my kitchen.
I have a nice tight kitchen now, like
Yeah, I
all
know.
super compact. So let's see if I can bring that back together. It's nice to see people joining us from Australia. I see people from Asia. I'm seeing people from the West Coast. So it's that's one of the things we really love about PlayLab. We're all in. I know it's a virtual room, but it's so easy to gather from wherever in the world,
Yeah.
and definitely something to be said about that.
So yeah, let's look at what Suhita is doing. She's piecing the
Yeah,
pieces together, and you can see some pieces from new home, and
some
some
pieces have found a
pieces.
new home, and some just may not come back. I'm not sure yet, but I think I'm going to lose some of this and either redraw it or see if, I don't know, if you could just imagine it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully we'll bring back this session soon so that you get
Yeah, break and build is a
clearer
pretty
idea.
involved session, right? It's really involved. That session we do. It's one of our longer sessions, and it's kind of fun to see everybody have to cut up their stuff.
So there's a specific process that we go through to cut, to build. Yeah, so don't worry if today this looks super crazy to you.
That's right. If cutting was too much today, just come to a break and build session when we announce it, and then you'll be sort of prepared to be breaking it up. So maybe it won't be so dramatic.
How's everyone doing? Are you following along or are you having a good time? I hope so.
Yeah, it's that's the one thing about it being YouTube live and not a Zoom room. We can't chat with each other, but keep those
Yeah.
comments coming in chat. That way we know you're here. We know you're making something. Tell us what you're making. And I hope you tag us so we can see what you made later, wherever you post. And if you're too shy to post online, you know our email address, send it to us. We'd love to see it. Wow, Paul, I better start bringing some semblance to your kitchen sink because
Uh-huh.
I've taken it all apart, but now it might be time to bring something back together. And I see you're starting to bridge and build some connections.
Yeah, and also I'm using some, in a really crazy way, which is fun,
Oh,
and
that's
then see,
lovely.
but
I love those
we
lines that are running across.
yeah. Yeah, so next week we start our a rerun of celebrating drawn texture. So if you are interested to join us, the link will be up after the YouTube live. I'll put it in the description box so you can rewatch this session and get an idea of what we're doing next week. We still have
And if
spots.
you haven't joined us at all, if you write to splaylab@gmail.com, we'll just put you on the email where we send out email every time we have a new session. So you don't have to wonder when we're having one. All right, time to start doing some bridging. It's amazing how much you can cut something apart and you can still find connections in it.
Yeah, yeah, and you are saying that this is keeps of fun. Yeah, we are also having fun.
Okay,
That's why
great.
we may
That's
have
good
gone
to know. Yeah,
quiet.
sometimes we get quiet, but that's just us getting
Yeah,
really involved in what we're doing.
yes, correct. So at the play lab, we will say, hey, go do your thing for a while, and that's where you get an opportunity to make sense what you're doing, and then play and do it your way, right? Because we all play differently within the
Mhm.
playground. We want to celebrate that as well.
Another thing about taking apart is you get to reorder somebody's stuff. It's quite fun. I'm enjoying this, though I don't think mom will be happy, Paul, with the mess I made
Yeah,
of her very neat kitchen. So
that's okay. Yeah, so what we're doing right now is to now bring the story, the spirit of what we're doing, instead of trying to just slavishly replicate it.
that's right. I think we often say that celebrate it, don't just replicate it. So
Yeah,
bring back the feeling that you have when you look at something
yeah.
or whatever feeling you have right now. Bring something of yourself to the work. It's not just a copy of the photograph.
And also, I guess it's also a reflection of our time as an urban sketcher. And we're still urban sketcher. It's just that we've taken a different format and approach to urban sketching.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that when things back to normal again, we can still continue to play on a location.
Yeah, it'll be fun to get back to doing this in person and bring some of these fun techniques to location. And even
Yeah,
some collaborative work. That's one thing I'm missing. It would be fun to collaborate on these
oh
together in
yes,
a room one
yeah,
day.
yeah. One day,
I hope the rest of you too. I'm seeing a couple of you comment, but I know there's a bunch of you in the room. Hopefully you are having fun with this. Uh, and hopefully we will see it. Half the fun is in getting to see what somebody else made. Um, so yeah, definitely share it somehow with us. We'd love if you share and tag us. Are any of you drawing your own sink? That would be interesting to see. And for those of you that watch this later and draw from the, draw with the recording or draw your sync later, we'd still love to see it. So send it in to us somehow. I know it's not a great time for everybody to join us. So if you are, uh, say, in Europe and this wasn't a great time to join in and you watch later, definitely let us see what you drew. I could go on with this one forever. So you're just going to have to call it, Paul, when you think that we should call this done, because I can fiddle with it forever. That's another nice thing about PlayLab. You don't have to be done and you don't have to be finished, and there's no sort of end point you have to get to. So it's nice to have that freedom. If you've been to a play lab before, I'd love to know what you like best about it. Like some of those things are so valuable for us to know because it helps us design more sessions around things you find valuable or things you learn from. So share with us.
Yeah, okay. I hope I've done justice to your kitchen, Suhita.
Oh, that's so much fun. That is
Yeah.
so much fun.
So we use this method quite a bit, but in different forms, and we still have a few more tools that we use when we are sketching
Basically,
to
this
kind
way of
of,
disrupting it, right? Just to put us,
yes,
like to keep us on our toes.
yeah, correct. And also, how can we tell a familiar scene like this, in a different,
Correct.
fresh way? Yeah,
Yeah, we should do a 10 ways to draw your sink. That would be fun to
yeah,
see.
yeah,
But like Paul said, it is nice to do a fresh take on something because we've all drawn in pretty similar in our environment now in this last year more than ever. And sometimes you think you've drawn it all, but there's always a fresh take left.
yeah. And sometimes you do have to make adjustment because you can no longer do this or that, and then we either stop doing it altogether or we become very frustrated. So that's one of the other uh, you know purpose of the sketching is to give you the tools, the confidence to do
Mm-hmm.
something crazy. And get a lot of fun out of it, and hopefully that's going to enrich your day, enrich your creative process. And like on our table, you see that there are a lot of pieces that we haven't used. You can either keep it, for later on,
That's
or
right.
metaphorically, there are things that no longer fit into our new normal that can be put away
Mm-hmm.
without us having to fear that, oh, it's no longer resembling what I used to have or to do, and that's okay.
That's right. I mean, sometimes the new and like Paul said, that's true that some of the things that we did before, when we get back out again, we may now no longer do. But there's also been new tools, right? So it's not like a
Yeah.
just a loss. There's also been a gain. So it'll be fun. I am looking forward to meeting everybody again and seeing how they grew, what they discovered, what their work looks like now in
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that's going to be fun.
Yes, that'll be fun. So we are quite close to getting
The
somewhere.
hour, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Just like that, it's been an hour.
Yeah. Well, I guess that happens when you are caught up in play, right? Play mode, and then you
That's right.
just keep going. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good time to actually, comment, ask us a question if you have any. Let us
Johnny is
know.
asking, yeah, Johnny's asking if I cut mine up. Definitely. Yeah, it's bits that have been assembled. I wish I'd taken a screenshot before, but if you go back in the video, you'll see there's
So
bits of
let's
different ones that have been assembled, and I made a super tight composition. Paul's dish rack has gone somewhere now.
well,
Uh,
but it certainly still look like my kitchen, and I can see that there's a lot of distortion, but I can still tell that it's her take an impression of my kitchen sink,
yeah, it
and I
was
can
fun to do. Let's go to Paul's and see. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. You can see the cuts clearly here. And Paul even painted some of the planes around the cuts. So you notice them. Uh,
yeah, and also I like
Breton,
the plants in the background. They
there you
they kind
go.
of form like a backdrop for all the
Yeah,
kitchen.
there's layers and layers and layers of them.
Yes, yeah.
Breton says, I appreciate the PLAYLAB sequence of exercises that builds to specific focus. Thank you for that in the process of discovery. Thank you for putting it so nicely. We often do, we build around these things, but we haven't sometimes explored the words for what we are doing. But it is true. It takes you somewhere, but you have to discover it. It's not a show and tell by Paul and me.
Yeah, so please share your sketches, hashtag sketching playlab. I'm writing it down so that you remember on Instagram. Okay,
That's right. Or
and you
did
can
you
also,
set up a Padlet also for those that want to share privately? I don't remember.
no, not this one.
Not
Yeah,
this time. Okay, so
so we
share
do
on Instagram. Yes, share on
see on
Instagram.
Instagram. So this is our email address. So you can
That's
drop us a
right.
mail if you are not on our mailing list, and I'll be
And then
posting.
of course, this recording will be there, and Paul will put down in the first comment on the recording any of the details you might need, right?
Yeah, that's right. So after the session is over, you will see that this will be a YouTube recording, and we will also be putting links to our Buy Me a Coffee where you can support us if you enjoy this session with us. We are more than happy for you to donate any amount that you are comfortable with, so that this donation will keep us going and keep the lab open as well. And also, we will give you more details about next week's play session. We still have space. We're doing it uh, for 2 weeks, and all the sessions are the same. We repeat it 4 times. So some people wonder, if is each session different? They are all the same. Some people do come back again
People come
once,
back again.
twice.
Some people love
Yeah,
the discovery, and some people feel like the second time around,
yeah.
because they know where they are going, they can push themselves more. So, depending on whatever kind of person you are, maybe sign up for the first week, and then if you love it, sign up again for the next week.
Yeah, our play session is unique because it allows you to come back and redo that session, because a lot of times the learning may happen over several sessions. So that's why we do encourage people to come back again, so that each time you come back again, maybe there's better mastery of the technique, or maybe there is a different discovery that you can
Mm-hmm.
share with the class. Yeah, so we do learning together as well. Yeah. So I think we maybe take another 5 minutes to
Sure.
now finish. Well, we're not
Yeah,
really
and put your
finished.
questions there if you want to. it would be lovely to see them.
Yeah.
But we're wrapping up. I'll put those hashtags down also on this one.
Yeah, so you can see that we have drawn two kitchen sink view, but we put our own flavor and spin, and also what Suhita likes to do, what I like to do, so that we take the sketch to a whole new level. And hopefully, you learn some of this technique, and also you use the technique to kind of amplify what you like to do as well in your own sketching, drawing.
It's
Any
kind
other
of fun to
comments from you?
take apart Paul's sink and put it back together. It
Yeah.
feels like I looked really closely at it because I looked at each little bit.
Yes.
So that was kind of
Same
fun.
here. Yeah, correct. And also I kind of now know what you feel like when you are standing by the sink doing
That's right.
dishes, looking at the plants. So that's also quite an immersive thing for me to experience. Yeah. So yeah, feel free to draw our sink if you haven't done so, and share with us. If you have any comments, we can be reached on Instagram, drop us a mail, a private message. And hopefully, if you enjoyed the hour with us, we plan to do more of this. We love to hear from you. What else you think will be useful, valuable for you.
Yeah, or fun to do together. So all
Yeah.
suggestions, send them into splaylab@gmail.com. I think Paul has it on his sketch, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Let me
so
go
I've written
down
it
there.
down.
splaylab@gmail.com is where you can have a conversation with us. Any last thoughts before we go? That was kind of fun and really relaxing. A nice way to, I know it's Saturday morning for you, a nice way to do Friday evening for me.
Now I'm fully awake because I've got so many ideas buzzing in my head, even though we've done this before. But there's always something new to discover, and there's always something that I can use for other work that I potentially be doing in the week. So this is just really a way to just get. Can you see where we can still keep going because it's not done.
No, it's never done. So you can always keep it growing. But that was really fun. Ellen says, thank you, Ellen. And thank you for everyone who joined us. It's nice to be back. The summer's coming to an end, but that's okay. We'll be back in session and we are going to be having regular sessions. So if you haven't signed up yet, next week and the week after, we have sessions. splaylab@gmail.com. Write to us and ask how you can get on our mailing list.
Yeah, so have a great day and have a good weekend until we see you again. So stay safe. And anything from you, Suhita?
No, stay safe, have fun, get all warmed up for next week's session, and we will see you soon.
Yeah, so goodbye. See you. See you soon.